we're gonna go to oh, we still got time. Let's talk about it. Sagging pants. Now, there's this funny story.
I haven't seen this one.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, okay. We'll read through it together. So, August 29th. This is from it's a website. It's an LA news site, but
Mhm.
the story happens in Charleston, South Carolina. It says a program promoting self-respect and the importance of making a good impression by simply wearing a belt is taking off at a South Carolina high school. The No More Sagging campaign encourages teens to dress appropriately by pulling up their pants using a free belt that's offered to them. It says the goal is to teach young men about manhood and carrying themselves with respect. No blowback. This is just the article itself, but you can imagine the type of blowback that you might see for this type of story. It'll be like, oh, it's racist. Oh, it's, whatever, right? And here's a nice picture of people not wearing their pants. Well, first of all, I would
I
say,
feel like there's so
why
many
is it
things
racist?
wrong with
Even
this.
even in this picture, there's multiple racists sagging their pants, right? Even in this picture, right? Now, my reaction is on the one hand, the libertarian in me doesn't like more pointless mandates. Like you're just telling people how to wear their pants. Is that really? Well, it doesn't say telling them. It says suggesting and offering a free belt, as if that's the problem. It's not that they couldn't afford the belt. It's because they don't know how to wear the pants correctly. Okay.
Wait, that's not the problem either, obviously.
Oh, you think they know? Oh, wow. So they. Oh, yeah, yeah. They do know, I guess. Well, no, they don't know what the correct way because they disagree that that's the correct way. They literally think that it's fine. Like these pants, their design didn't involve wearing them at your waist.
Like the thing that really okay, I don't know. There's so many things wrong about this, but this this means that there's people that actually think the problem is they don't have belts. Is that?
I don't.
I
I
mean,
don't. I think maybe they're just trolling them. It's what I think. Right? They bought like four belts in case there are some people who actually said, "Huh, you know what? That is the solution to my problem. I just never had a belt. That's why my pants are this low. Thank you. You solved my problem." No, I think they clearly know nobody is going to be picking up this free belt.
okay, okay, that makes more
Yeah,
sense now.
but they're
Yeah,
just doing that to sort of meme them, to troll them, and or
yeah,
shame them, or to ridicule them, right?
it makes total sense if you think that this is a they're trolling. Yeah, it makes a lot more
Right.
sense.
Of course, yeah. Um, so like I said, the libertarian in me thinks that, well, they shouldn't be mandated or something. People can wear pants the way they want to wear them. But the men's fashion enthusiast in me thinks, good, get these people to stop wearing their pants this way. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And it's so impractical because now your underwear is showing. Underwear normally doesn't show. So it never had to be presentable before. So now you have another item of clothing that has to be presentable.
Mm.
That sucks, doesn't it?
It's more of a hassle, I guess, or
It
it's
is.
another thing you have to worry about. It doesn't look like they're trolling to me, actually. There's a photo of them, these three people in blue shirts.
Oh my God, they
Like,
have lots of belts on them.
like that
Okay,
doesn't look.
so
It doesn't actually look like they're
I don't think they're
trolling.
trolling. I don't think they're trolling, but I'm going to amend that. I'm going to say what's happening is they're forcing them to put these belts on. It's not a suggestion. They are forcing them, and here's the belt. Put it on. I
Man,
think that's what's going on here.
this is really. It's actually, man. It's I have so many questions. Like, where is the money for this coming from? I wonder.
Well, belts are pretty cheap. I think a school can afford them.
And isn't it encouraging that these three people are all black?
And making people wear belts, yeah, it's absolutely encouraging. But,
Yeah.
black people are not a monolith. There's lots of people who hate the sight of all this sagging, you know?
Right. Right.
And it's just one of those things. It's like a lot of other things where there's
That
there's a
reminds me of
there's
that
a
Chris Tucker video, by the way. Remember that one?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Chris Rock, by the way.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Chris Rock.
Chris Tucker doesn't really work, but
Sorry.
it's a it's this classic friction that you have between, well, I should be able to be me, I should be able to do what I want and not be judged, which, in a utopia, in an ideal world, I guess I can get on board with. It's not great to have people judge you just on sight, but at the same time, the real world you live in, people do judge you on sight. So if you want to be presentable, if you want better results, you have to think about how you're presenting yourself to this world. And sagging your pants is not an ideal way of presenting yourself to this world. And you know, I know people personally who do sag their pants. Not many, but I do know some people. And I was just thinking, this is probably really foreign to you, huh? Do you even know people who sag their pants?
No, and
Yeah, I
nor
bet
do I
you
know.
you've
Yeah,
never known anybody.
nor do I know people that leave stickers on their hats.
No, you don't. So this just sort of shows like the different areas we grew up in. But yeah, you probably never even known somebody who's sagged their pants. But
No.
it's a thing. It's a real thing, as you can tell
Yeah.
from this photo documentation. People do
Well,
it.
I mean, yeah, I've seen people on the streets
Yeah,
with pants
you've
sagging.
seen them on the streets
Yeah.
as you quickly drove by and accelerated. Correct?
No, I think you see it in SF walking
Again, where you quickly drive by.
or walk by. Yeah.
Wow, you have the bravery to walk in SF now?
No, I think you'll see this on like Market Street or whatever.
You have the bravery to walk on Market Street? Market Street is not that great now.
I agree with that.
So, I think it's a good sign. Like I said, the libertarian in me doesn't agree necessarily with forcing people, but well, it is school. It is a good time to sort of teach people these lessons that how they present themselves matters. And the real world doesn't necessarily want to adhere to your like permissive utopia where everybody's accepted as is. That's just not the reality. People are not just accepted as is. So you may as well at least be aware of it and maybe even conform, tailor your behavior, conform a little bit so that you get better results in your life.
So, okay, what percentage of people sagging their pants do you think are even have the kind of the self-awareness regarding this? You know, are they aware that people may not, or sagging their pants may
I
not
think
give
they are.
people a
I think
favorable
they
impression?
I think they are. Here's the thing. I think they are because if you're the type of person who wears your pants like this and you happen to go to an area where this is not the norm, I think that you probably be able to sense the judgment from the people around you.
Hmm.
And so I think they know that this is not socially
Hmm.
acceptable or at least socially ideal. I think they understand that there's judgment there. But
Is
a
it
lot of
possible
these,
that they actually think, that they're being cooler?
I
It's
think
the other.
absolutely they think it's cool.
Uh,
They think it's fashionable. Of course, that's why they do that. There's no question about that.
hmm.
But I also think that a lot of them are aware that in some sectors of society that will be judged negatively. But what happens, I believe, is they just brush it off as, well, it's racist. Well, it's just unfair. Well, these people are small-minded, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's just
Hmm.
brushed off as those things and ignoring, of course, the larger issue of, well, perhaps it is small-minded, perhaps it is unfair, but what are you going to do? Accept these suboptimal results in your life until society just becomes perfectly fair and perfectly
Hmm.
open-minded? Or are you going to modify your own behavior to get optimal results? It's up to you, you know, but at least you should make your choice fully aware that of the trade-off of, hey, I'm going to accept these suboptimal results for the rest of my life, probably, because I'm not in the wrong. It's everybody. Society is in the wrong. So I feel it's their problem. Well,
Right.
it's
And that is probably the message that they're getting, right?
yeah, but
That
a
so
lot of people
that
probably are
it
giving them that message. Yeah,
because that's I mean that's kind of the shirking uh, personal responsibility is kind of the that's the leftist way.
yeah, and you know, I'm not responsible for my results because something in this process was unfair. Well, I've got news for you. Something in every single process is going to be unfair, probably until the end of time. That's just the reality of it. There's probably never going to be a process that's perfectly fair, perfectly right, perfectly ideal. And yet you're going to have to live in it. You're going to have to go through those processes. You're going to have to achieve the results you achieve in your life based on your actions. You're just going to have to do that. And it's the trade-off is up to you. You can either conform to this thing that you feel is unfair. Like I gotta not sag my pants. I gotta wear a suit and tie, whatever. Um, or not even a suit and tie. People don't even dress well these days. Just not sag your pants, right? Wear khakis or some suburban thing.
Or just not sag your pants.
Just not sag, yeah, or just not sag your pants. Like even if you just wanted to wear the same jeans you have on, be fine. And accept the results that you get based on your actions, based on the way you move within this imperfect system, within this unfair system, even within this intolerant system, even. But at the end of the day, your results are still going to be your results. If you don't get hired for a job because of the way you dress, you're the one that doesn't have a job, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something they have to understand that is just the thing. Yeah. What you said is totally a message that they need to hear. And also it's just like the immediacy of taking personal responsibility versus trying to enact change. Right? It's just it's still
Right,
obvious which is the more direct method.
right.
And,
Which one has a
yeah.
better impact on your own life?
And you could do both too, right?
Yeah, you could advocate
But
for sagging pants all you want while wearing your pants correctly.
exactly.
You know, um, I think there's some examples of this in fashion, for instance, as you and I know, since we both like men's fashion and style. We know that streetwear has been a much larger influence in men's fashion over the last decade or so, and that means that some things that were considered too street before are now more acceptable. But here's the thing: I feel that changed happened from within, coming from people who who knew how to toe the line and knew how to conform enough to work within the system. Like
Hmm.
you didn't dress like this. Like it wasn't like 1995 and you dressed like this and you're sagging your pants and you went to Louis Vuitton and said, "Give me a job." They would laugh.
Right.
They would laugh you out of the building. They would laugh you out of the building. But if you dressed well enough to be presentable and you went to the right design schools and you got a job at Louis Vuitton or you got a job at, Gucci or whatever, and then you were presentable enough, you worked within the system enough, and then once you got in there, you said, "Hey, you know what? Uh, street fashion is kind of cool. Shouldn't we integrate some of this stuff? It's what the kids like." And then they affected change in that way. And now a lot of street fashion is more acceptable. Well, you can do that, but you still have to understand where the lines are, and you still have to work within that system, even if you want to affect change in the back end. You can't just be such a rebel right at the outset and just refuse any of these lines, right? It was like, oh, I'll just go wherever. I ignore all the lines and boundaries. Well, then you're not going to affect any change because nobody's going to work with you, and you're not going to get within the system. You're not going to get into positions of influence ever. I think that's
You know
yeah.
what? Yeah, you know what scares me about this is, I think yeah, the perspective you just took is really interesting, but it sort of raises the specter, I guess. How easy would it be to make saggy pants or sagging your pants actually a thing,
Oh
right?
my God.
All it would take would be what's the most popular K-pop group?
Hip hop or K-pop?
K-pop.
BTS,
Yeah,
of
sorry,
course.
that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if BTS members started sagging their pants?
Well, that wouldn't have an impact because I don't think men follow BTS. It's mostly girls. But I get your point. Like, what if Kanye started doing it? What if Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton started doing it? Louis Vuitton had a lot of streetwear integrated into its fashion. Every fashion house has some element of streetwear right now, and yeah, you're right.
I
It
mean,
is.
should we be knocking on wood, actually? Like,
Oh well, if sagging your pants becomes fashionable, I don't care. I'll just be unfashionable. I don't care. I don't care. I'll be much older by then. I'll be near death, thank God. And I just won't do it. I just won't follow it.
can you imagine who's the guy who was designing these suits that were really short cut. What's it, Tom something?
Tom Brown.
Tom Brown. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What if
And
he had a collection of suits where
where they're sagging? Well, I hate to break this to you, but he has. I think he has. He's had a lot of things with shorts, and he's done like some things that were sagging, but they were not sagging in a like a streetwear sense because they were just oddly cut pants. And yeah, if that I've already accepted and adopted the really tightly cut suits, like really slim fit suits. I've accepted that and embraced it. I'm not gonna go
what?
this one extra
Okay, if you were to just play along, like what would be? How would you design a suit actually that would
that
allow?
sags.
Yeah, that you could sag. I mean, the thing is,
It would need to have like a
you
material that's really stretchy,
okay,
like
but
a
I guess
harem pant, like a harem pant.
okay, the main decision point that I see is it going to be, if the person takes off their suit jacket, are you going to see their underwear? Or is it going to be designed
Oh, right, right. Where it's just like there's a crotch that's super low. Oh, yeah, that's true.
or yeah, I mean, is there a way to like, yeah, take from that look and integrate it without,
I think Tom Brown did that. He had a pant where the crotch was really lower than it normally is,
Mhm.
but the waist was still normal. So you couldn't see someone's underwear.
Okay. Well, interesting you mentioned harem pant. Like I literally, one of my friends just linked me today. Actually, it was just so random. Out of the blue, he's like, "Oh, I like these pants. I'll link it to you." And they're harem pants. And I
Mm,
didn't
hmm
know,
hmm
I hadn't really heard of them before. But it's funny that we're talking about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're in.
What actually is a harem pant?
The crotch is lower. It's much baggier. I think
Hmm.
those are your typical definitions.
Okay. Why is this? It definitely, has this kind of Japanese
Hmm
vibe about it. Do you any idea why this is popular in Japan? Did it originate
Well,
from
I
Japan?
think it's similar to why athleisure is popular
Hmm.
here and everywhere. Well, maybe not everywhere, but in the U.S. It's just more comfortable. You know, we're a more dressed down society. People focus on comfort a little bit more,
Hmm.
and I think that's why athleisure is popular. And I think that's why something like this could be popular. It looks. I don't own harem pants,
Hmm.
but I can imagine it's very comfortable. Like it
Yeah.
has a low crotch and it's baggy, so
Uh,
yeah. So that's my opinion on yeah, sagging pants. I was totally right. I knew you wouldn't know anybody who wears their pants that way. I knew that for sure.
I mean, not even. I can't even say. I'm thinking my entire life. I don't. I didn't. Haven't even known somebody. It's like not even though I not know anybody right now, but I don't think
Yeah.
I've known anybody my entire life. I mean, like for example, at my school, I don't think there was one person that even sagged their pants, right?